began on an icy November night when a group of 5 friends decided to take a shortcut through a forgotten rural road known locally as Dead Mile 17. Locals warned travelers never to enter that road after sunset, claiming strange lights flickered in the dense forest and shadows moved without wind. But the group laughed it off, treating it as nothing more than old American folklore. As they drove deeper, radio signals vanished, the GPS glitched, and the road behind them disappeared into pitch-black nothingness. Something felt wrong, terribly wrong. But turning back was no longer an option. The deeper they went, the more the surroundings changed. The trees grew unnaturally tall, bending inward like skeletal arms trying to block out the moon. The car's headlights flickered each time they passed a certain distance, as if some unseen force drained the energy around them. A low humming sound echoed in the forest, too rhythmic to be an animal, too distorted to be human. One friend, Mark, swore he saw someone standing by the road, pale, motionless, eyes glowing faint yellow. But when they reversed to check, the figure had vanished, leaving only the sound of something breathing. 10 minutes later, fog rolled in so thick the car could barely move. Their phones vibrated with notifications, but every screen displayed the same corrupted message: turn back before it finds you. No sender, no signal, just the message, repeated dozens of times. Panic grew. Sarah begged them to stop the car and wait for sunrise. But before they could decide, something slammed against the vehicle, so hard the entire frame shook. They screamed. The impact came again, this time dragging across the metal with long, razor-like scratches. The forest around them seemed alive, listening, waiting. When they finally stepped out to check the damage, they found a single handprint burned into the car's door. Not human. Too large, too thin. The print pulsed faintly, as if it still carried residual heat. Mark picked up the flashlight and scanned the forest. The beam stopped on a tall figure standing among the trees, staring directly at them. Its limbs were elongated, joints bent the wrong way, and its head twitched rapidly, as if glitching between shapes. When the flashlight flickered for just 1 second, the figure had moved 20 feet closer without making a single sound. They rushed back into the car, slammed the doors, and accelerated. But no matter how fast they drove, the road stretched endlessly forward. No turns, no intersections, no exit. Sweat dripped down their necks as the humming sound returned, louder now, vibrating through the car windows. A faint voice whispered from the radio, even though it was turned off, repeating their names one by one. The temperature dropped suddenly. Breath turned visible. Frost crept over the dashboard, and in the rearview mirror, the tall figure was now running behind them, impossibly fast. Its distorted face smiling unnaturally wide. Without warning, the car stalled on its own. The engine died, Lights off. Power gone. They were trapped in absolute darkness. Someone or something tapped on the window. Then again, then harder. The tapping grew into scratching, then pounding, as if multiple hands surrounded the car. The friends huddled together, terrified beyond words. Suddenly, the tapping stopped. Silence fell. A long, slow exhale drifted above the roof of the car. Something was crouched on top. The metal creaked under its weight. Sarah covered her mouth to avoid screaming as long, needle-like fingers slid down the windshield. ... The windshield shattered, glass exploding inward. A thin, inhuman arm reached inside, grabbing Mark by the leg and dragging him out before anyone could react. His screams echoed through the forest until they abruptly stopped. The remaining friends locked the doors, though deep down, they knew it wouldn't help. Moments later, the car jolted upward, lifted off the ground by something enormous. They felt themselves rise at least 5 feet before being dropped back down violently. Then, a chilling voice whispered from all directions, overlapping, distorted, calling them by their childhood nicknames, names no one there should have known. Desperate, they fled into the forest on foot. The trees twisted around them, rearranging into impossible patterns. Branches grabbed at their clothes like skeletal hands. Whispering voices followed them, repeating fragments of their fears, their memories, their secrets. Emily tripped, and when they tried to help her up, she stared past them, frozen in terror. A face was emerging from the bark of a nearby tree, stretching outward as if the tree itself was alive, forming a human shape made of wood. Its eyes opened, its mouth split open unnaturally wide, and it whispered Emily's name. The forest began to warp, the ground bending like liquid beneath their feet. They realized they weren't in a regular forest anymore. They were inside something else. A place that mimicked the world, but didn't belong to it. A realm that fed on fear. Shadows crept along the ground, reaching for their legs, like living tentacles. Sarah looked behind her and screamed. Mark was hanging upside down from a tree branch, eyes missing. Mouth stitched shut with what looked like vines. Something moved behind his body, as if using him like a puppet to watch them. Only one friend survived long enough to reach the road again. As dawn approached, the creature finally retreated into the forest, dragging the others with it. The lone survivor stumbled back to civilization, trembling, half-conscious, and repeating only 2 words: "It learns." Authorities searched Dead Mile 17 for weeks, but found nothing. No bodies, no car, no evidence the group had ever been there. The road has since been sealed off, but on certain nights, travelers claim to hear whispers calling their names from the tree line. And sometimes, if the fog is thick enough, a pale figure watches from the shadows.